introduce you in English. Nos encontramos con Srijith Gopinathan, un cocinero indio que tiene un restaurante de 2 estrellas Michelin en San Francisco. Tell us, how is the progressive Indian food? Because we have the experience of the traditional Indian food, the lentils, the chicken, the hot chicken, the curry. But how is the progressive Indian food?
So progressive Indian has there are two duties, responsibility for progressive Indian chefs. One is, number one, to put Indian cuisine outside India in the right form, because Indian cuisine is never represented as Indian cuisine, as the original Indian cuisine ever. Because I've traveled west for the last 15 years. Not in one place, Indian cuisine is done like it is supposed to be done in India ever. So it's all wrong what you have outside India, number one. Number two, progressive has one more job to make it more palatable and more helpful to the Westerners to begin with. Because when you introduce Indian food, you got to introduce the progressive way slightly less aggressively. When I say aggressively, Indian cuisine is all about being very spicy, not very spicy, being spicy. When it is spicy, it is spicy. When it is sweet, it is really sweet. Desserts are very sweet. Some of the dishes are very, very spicy. When it is sour, it is very sour. It's a lot of extremes in Indian cuisine. But our job as progressive Indian chef is basically to tone down a little bit and to make it more friendlier to the Western audience. Where this is my job outside India. In India, it might be a little different. I've been in California for 11 years. I've been outside India for the last 17 years. So it's a different job for me. So progressive in general is basically to lighten it down, because Northern Indian cuisine has a perception that it's heavy. We lighten it down a little bit. We use the ingredients which is available there, then. When I say there and then, if I'm cooking in Madrid or in San Sebastián, I would cook with ingredients from here, except spices and all the things. So that's progressiveness in it. You know, if you get scallops, good scallops in San Sebastián, I would use that. I don't go to India and get a fish. So progressiveness is basically being a little more open to things available around you and lighten it down and make it more helpful for Western audience to have it. That's what I would say. I'm talking for my restaurant and outside India. So the other one will be a little different.
What part of India are you from?
I'm from South. I'm from a little a state called Kerala.
Oh, I love Kerala.
So
I think it's the region with the best Indian food.
That's right. We use a lot of. A good thing about that is our food is very much driven with what is available in the coastal place. We are from coast, so it's near the ocean. So yes. What we get there is it's tropical coast. So you get coconut, you get curry leaves, you get cilantro, you get a lot of fish, seafood. That's what we use. I mean, a lot of seafood and vegetable preparations.
You have a very tasty tuna.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
That's correct. We get really good tuna, squids, mussels, oysters. Yeah, we get a lot of stuff.
Yes, I love it. And you have a lot of vegetables, a lot of vegetables with those spices that are wonderful. But Kerala is also the place where the Ayurveda was born.
That's correct. Ayurveda was born in India generally, but Kerala has a lot of Ayurveda in it. My wife, by the way, is an Ayurvedic doctor. My wife is an Ayurvedic doctor too.
And tell us, how is the Ayurveda diet?
See, there are different perceptions of Ayurveda. Ayurveda diet, people say Ayurveda is vegetarian. Ayurveda is not about being vegetarian. You could eat non-vegetarian too, because there's nothing wrong in eating good seafood. I don't believe there's nothing wrong in eating seafood. So Ayurveda is basically based on number one, a lot to do with. I'm not an expert in Ayurvedic cuisine, but at the same time, it's all about healthy eating. Ayurveda is basically Ayur is life. Veda is science. That's a Sanskrit translation for that.
Yes.
So it's a life science. That's what it is. So they say food is a way of life. I mean, eating right food. If the way of life is eating right food, then you don't get sick. That's what it says.
They use usually sesame oil.
Sesame oil, yes.
Yes. In San Francisco, do you use sesame oil also?
We do not. We use a little coconut oil for sure.
Coconut oil.
Yeah, we do coconut oil.
And they have 6 flavors. I don't know if in your menu do you employ that philosophy also?
In fact, the 6 flavors was not introduced by Indians. It was introduced by Westerners. For us, we have 36 flavors. 36 because all the flavors marry between themselves and create more flavors.
Yes, that's right.
So that's never, our flavors doesn't stop at 6, it goes beyond 6 to 36. So it's different.
Yeah, but well, we know the main flavors. And you also, the Ayurveda diet, I don't know if it's, you can tell me if it's true. They say that there are 6 seasons, and in Spain we have 4 seasons: summer, autumn, winter, and spring.
So I believe, this is my opinion, the 6 seasons, I don't think it's based on, over here it is based on
the
weather, right?
Yes.
But I don't think it's based on weather, it's something else. I don't think I'll be the right person to comment on that.
Yes.
It's based on much more than that, because the thinking of Ayurveda is up there. It's like high level thinking. It's a lot higher than our wavelength. So I believe we need to read through it to understand it.
Yeah, but there are diets for each
That's right.
season.
That's correct. That's right. I mean, I don't follow that in my restaurant, unfortunately, but we're a little more progressive, so it's very hard for me to follow that. Yes, you're correct. There are diets for different, they call it Vata, Pitta, Kapha, different things. So different people have, they also have the different kind of people. They divide people into Vata people, Pitta people, Kapha people, and they have different diets, and what they can eat in what time is a different diet. So it's a very complex science.
Yes.
It takes a good doctor to tell you exactly what it is.
Yes, I have been talking with Indian doctors, and I know a little bit of it. You are explaining very good. And the Indian new chef also thinks in the neurogastronomy. I don't know if you are involved also.
Novel gastronomy?
No, neuro from the brain.
Neurogastronomy.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Because we've been following this for a very long time. It's not a new thing. We've been following it a very long time too. So neurogastronomy, absolutely, yes. We believe it's not just the tongue. It has to go from here. I mean, it's all over you. The 5 senses. The 5 senses, yes, absolutely. It must. It has to have some noise. It has to have some smell. It has to have a feeling to it. It has to. I mean, the taste. I mean, it's the whole 9 yards. I mean, absolutely yes. I would say yes to it.
But you don't eat with the hands.
Sorry?
You don't eat with the hands in the Indian food. I don't know.
We do eat with hands.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay, but in the restaurants I visited.
No, the problem is in India, we only ate with hands.
But
we never ate with spoons. Now, we were ruled by British for over 200 years.
Yes.
The British made us eat with spoon.
Okay.
It's not us.
Okay.
And we changed. We did not succumb to a lot of their pressure in terms of change, in terms of religious rights, as well as the way of living, what we ate, all those things. Britain instead of forcing us to eat their food, they actually adopted our food. They started eating Indian food. So we did not succumb to their pressure in many ways. But one thing we just gave up is probably eating with spoons. We were told that eating with spoon is culture. It's high end. So we believed it. We started eating in school. Normally we ate with finger.
So before the British arrived,
Absolutely.
you used to.
We always use it. You know, honestly, at my home, even today, I use my fingers to eat. I don't use spoon.
But now it reminds me the Mexican food, the tortillas, the Mexican tortillas.
You're right.
Yeah, and I don't know. Is there any link between the Indian and the Mexican?
I am not
because
sure
you have
about
the same
that.
idea.
I am not sure about that, but our ideas. I mean, I'm very close to Mexico. California is very close to Mexico. I know
I know.
Mexican food. Yes, it does have some spice blends, but Indian spice blend and the way India treats the spices and Indian breads is it's just out of the you know it is unbelievably beyond thinking and beyond our normal thinking, because we have so many different kinds of breads. If you know, we have breads. See, keep in mind, India is not. There is nothing called Indian cuisine. I'm sorry to say, but there is nothing called Indian cuisine. It is cuisines of India. So when I say cuisines of India, there are so many cuisines in India which we had or we adopted from conquerors in India. So we have so many cuisines. We have a cuisine in Kerala. We have a cuisine in Tamil Nadu. We have a cuisine in Lucknow. We have a cuisine in Andhra. We have a cuisine in Kashmir. I mean, there are so many different cuisines, and they are not a namesake different. They're distinctively different. What do you cook in Kerala? People in Kashmir has no clue, and vice versa. People in Kerala has no clue what is happening in Kashmir. It's completely different.
But there is I think, a national dish that is the lentils.
Lentil.
Yeah.
But again, the lentil is also cooked in
a different
25
way.
different ways.
Yes, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's very different. Lentil,
And the
yes.
rice chicken.
Rice. Some people in India don't even eat rice. They eat only bread.
The rice and the curry rice and the chicken.
The biryanis
rice.
and all those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is also the dosa. Do you say like the crepes, like the tortillas? Those I don't know.
Chapatis.
Chapatis
and
that you
parathas.
made with rice, I think. Some
We do have a rice version also. Yes.
Yes,
We
rice.
do have See, this is how it is done. The rice-based preparations are mostly south.
Yes.
The wheat-based preparation are mostly north.
Oh.
Exceptions are there, but all your rice-based preparations are basically towards south. Dosa, which is a rice crepe. Idli, it's a rice cake, south. Towards the north, it's all about whole wheat and all-purpose flour. With a lot of breads.
Okay.
So that's a difference there.
So if we go to your restaurant, what are we going to find? What a menu?
Good question. So my idea with our restaurant is basically, when you eat, you will eat like you would eat in any other California restaurant when you look at it. But when you eat it, you feel like you're having Indian food in a refined version. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you did not understand, everything will look and feel like you're in California. Sense of place. You know, I'm in California. I don't want to be somebody else. I want to be like Californians. But when you eat it, you will. If you've eaten Indian food, your brains will start telling you, "Hey, shoot! I have eaten this before in Indian restaurant, but it doesn't look or feel like what I had. But it is that." You know, the flavors are absolutely similar,
Yes.
but it's not exactly. It doesn't look like a bowl curry in a bowl.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we redefined it.
And for drink with the traditional Indian food, what do you usually? I don't know. Do you have Indian wine?
No, India doesn't have a culture of drinking alcohol with food.
Yeah.
But the world has moved on. We cannot be saying we will be eating only the traditional way. When you're in California, for me, you have great Californian wines. And we figured a lot of Californian wine, as well as the European wine, even Spain and French wines from here, we figured it's a lot of work, but we figured out which wine goes with which Indian flavor. So we do pairing. We have some amazing
You choose Californian wines that match with the
not just
Indian.
California
Well,
wines from
all over
across
the
the
world.
world.
Yeah.
A lot of California wines because it's a luxury for us in California. Good wines available. So we have a master sommelier in house. So he chooses the wine for the food. Me and him sit down. We choose the wine.
Because in Kerala I try a lot of juices, fruit juice, and teas, cardamomo tea.
Correct.
And
We call it chai.
the things that usually we don't drink here.
That's right. So we don't have a culture of pairing alcohol with food, but now yes we do. That's again part of progressiveness.
So how many years do you run the restaurant in San Francisco?
10 years.
10 years, and you got the second Michelin
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes.
And now, what are your new projects? Do you have more?
At this point, I'm focusing a lot on the restaurant.
On the restaurant.
Because we want to take it further.
But
So that's my immediate focus.
Are you planning to? Because now all the chef like you usually open a gastro bar or something like that.
That definitely would be my future plan for sure. I would love to do something very traditional, very simple Indian restaurant back in San Francisco.
In San
again.
Francisco
Yes,
also.
something very simple where you just go walk in with your t-shirt on, just sit there, enjoy, drink your beer, and just go home. That kind of a restaurant. I want to open a casual, simple restaurant where completely there is no stress around the place, wherein people come, just enjoy, drink, spend your time there, sit down, laugh, and go home. That kind of a restaurant, very simple one. I would love to do it.
Yes, you are very young. How old are you?
I am in my late 30s.
In?
I'm in my late 30s.
Late 30s.
Yeah.
You are very, very young. You have a life. Yeah, to open a lot of restaurants. And finally, what do you recommend to the new generations? Because here now they are coming a lot of Indian people, but maybe they don't know how to manage. You arrive to a foreign country and now you are at the top. But I suppose that was very hard to arrive there. What do you recommend?
It's definitely. I mean, there is no alternative to hard work. There's nothing. There's no alternative to hard work. Work very hard to begin with. Get stuff together. And if you're a chef, if you're in the cooking business,
Yes.
you put your head down and work with the chef and get your basics down when you're young. Don't wait to get old to go back to basics. Once you get your basics on, then move on and get going on your own stuff.
And
I
now-
wouldn't discourage.
Now, I suppose you are developing a new
Cuisine.
A new cuisine.
New cuisine.
Do you have any influence of, I don't know, any country besides India?
Yes, I do. All my influences are outside India, not India. India is very close to my heart. I took all the flavors and tastes from India, but
Yes.
the ideas, a lot of ideas, are working with Western chef. Biggest inspiration is Spain. One of the biggest inspiration in the last 15 years, right from Ferran to what is that chef? Unfortunately, we lost.
Andoni Luis Aduriz,
No, the
Arzac.
chef who died.
Santa Maria.
Santa Maria to Anthony Luis. Anthony Luis, I look up to him. I look up like a scientist. I mean,
Yes, he's
I
a
look at him
scientist.
and I go, my God, Jesus
Yes.
Christ, this guy
Yes, you
is
are
such a
right.
scientist. Arzac, such an amazing, and his daughter now is also doing very well. And Martin.
Martin Berasategui, he's
Great, just
a crack.
spectacular.
We say he a crack.
Spectacular, yeah.
Yes, 8 stars Michelin.
Martin Berasategui. I mean,
Joan Roca.
John Roca, you can't forget him. I mean, John Roca is big too. So many chefs here. When I was little boy, I used to look up to France. It used to be a big thing. And then when I started growing up, Spain was a thing. And I really focus on Spain, Ferran too, you know. I mean, the restaurant in Roses, I mean, El Bulli. I mean, come on, there's
But
nothing.
what have you learned from El Bulli? The technique or?
Technique, and the main thing I learned is essence. He focused a lot on essence, you know. Bring it to so small but very tasty, flavorsome. It's about flavor, texture. I mean, that's something which I learned. I still use it. In India, we use it. But the problem is, we never put it in a prescribed book. We did not write it down. We use it, I mean, it's a spontaneous thing in India to use.
Yes.
But somebody like a Ferran, he put things in place, in process. So that made our youngsters like me when I was young to study it. But in India, we don't get to study. You have to see and learn. Oh, okay. But here, I literally saw it. Oh, wow. This is the way to do it. I mean, it's almost like an instant copy of something. So you're okay, do it. Study, then do your own thing. You know, that's a lot of. Ferran is a big inspiration to Indian chefs in a big way.
But you study cuisine in India first?
I did my cooking in India, and then I went to Europe. I spent some time in Oxford, England. Then I traveled a lot in Europe when I was young. I used to go stage in places 2 days, 3 days, month, half a month. I did a lot of those things. But that is my inspiration to my rest of my life.
And do you have experience as a stagiaire with any Spanish chef?
I got to work with Paco Ranchero.
Paco Roncero.
When he was in Singapore, I worked with him for a week.
He's also a very good teacher. Yes.
He worked with Ferran, right?
Yes, he worked with Ferran, but now he has the most expensive restaurant in the world in Ibiza in the summer. Yes. Also,
it's great. I mean, all his chefs are amazing. That's only French experience, but Spanish experience. I did not come to Spain those days. I came to Madrid, but not really into restaurants, because here restaurants are not in Madrid. It's everywhere. San Sebastián, you go to Catalonia. Valencia. You go to everywhere in a restaurant. But France, you go to Paris, you can work in like 15 restaurants.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot.
We'll be in contact.
Thank you.